Hello fellow travelers, my name's SG and welcome to the channel. Today, since Suicide Squad Kills the Justice League has been a big topic lately, I kind of want to figure out what might have been. Now, I won't be the first one to tell you, and I am, of course, believe this, but I think all fans would have preferred another Batman game, whether it be Damian Wayne, Beyond, or even Gotham by Gaslight. Either one of those would have been good. But for now, I want to talk about something that could have been different, and something that could have been interesting, and two different ones that might have fit either or. So, without further ado, let's get into it, shall we? But before we continue, I would like to say, please, if you enjoy this content, subscribe, leave a like, and comment down below. I would of course like to hear all your opinions on what I'm about to say anyway. So yeah, now let's get started, shall we? Now, my first choice would have obviously been a narrative game, a storytelling game. And I'm not going to be one of those people that say, oh, it shouldn't have been Batman. I'm always going to be rooting for a Batman game. But for this scenario, for a different type of game, I'm going to go ahead and say Harley Quinn would have been a good choice to star in her own single game, as a spin-off of the Arkham series, if they wanted to make it part of the Arkham series. You do it after Arkham Knight and have it to where that Joker's gone and she's trying to decide what she wants to do. She is getting over the death of the Joker and, of course, the end of Batman's storyline itself. You would have had her be part of the Suicide Squad, but in this situation, it would have been mainly about her psychosis, her mindset. And if you wanted to go an extra mile, you could have made it a morality game, where you could have chosen the directions Harley Quinn would have gone. And with that, you would have had 3 different endings. A good, a bad, and a neutral ending. And right there, you would have had a kind of Mass Effect style Harley Quinn type of game. It would have been interesting, it would have been fun, and it would have been random. You would have had to see what happened to the Arkham characters after the Arkham Knight, where now they're dealing with a world without Batman, as far as they know. Hinting that maybe Batman's still out there, but now no one really knows. Maybe Riddler went crazy and trying to figure out who the real Batman is. Maybe Bane left, like they said in his story in Night, and went on to become a Batman character himself. Maybe Penguin's still around, or maybe he got arrested finally. Maybe Harvey Dent became a vigilante himself, like in the animated series he became the judge. See, these are all continuations of the story we would have liked to see. Though, I do think that the main protagonist, like I said, would have been Harley Quinn, and that would have been interesting. We would have seen her either delving into the Joker's mindset or getting over it, becoming her own character in her own right. Maybe not a hero, but definitely not a villain. And using the Suicide Squad as kind of her compass, if you will, where Deadshot or Bloodsport, whoever you wanted to play, would have been more of a grounded character and help her get her mind sorted out. And of course, we would have had other characters like Amanda Waller using all of this in her quest to either control all these metahumans or all these characters in the DC Arkham universe, or see what would have been. Maybe they're fighting a corrupt government official. Maybe they're doing this or that. Made it a real Suicide Squad game, except without having it be too much. Have there be mystery, have there be intrigue, have there be complicated issues that they're talking about. It doesn't have to be too much, because like I said, it's about Harley Quinn, but at the same time, you could have put a lot of effort into it and made it something interesting. If you wanted to do a free-for-all style game, like one that's kind of based on a superhero team, there are a few you could choose. The obvious choice would have been Justice League, of course, but you could have also gone with a bit of what they've done with Arkham Knights. Now, I'm not saying that's a fantastic game either, but I think it's definitely in the right direction. But for a style of game like this, you want to have a major player list. You want to have variety. This is where I think the Suicide Squad game really did kind of suffer. You can only play as 3 characters and more coming along the way, but that's not fun enough to keep people's attention. At least in my opinion, it's not enough to keep my attention. To choose between Boomerang, Harley Quinn, King Shark, and Deadshot. That's only 4 characters, to where if you went to Overwatch, you got a list of 20. And even before that, you had a list of maybe about 10 to 12 when they first came out. See, so there's already a big gap in that. Not to mention there's already a bunch of games that do it already, like Fortnite and so on and so forth. But I think you could have been different if you really dove into the DC mythos, not making this a part of the Arkham series, but rather make it a DC game, where you apply different characters from the games. So I'm thinking that if you wanted to do a game like this, instead of the Suicide Squad, you would have had the Outsiders. The Outsiders are a group of heroes that are basically the outsiders of the DC universe, where it's often been Batman, Black Lightning, Metamorpho, Katana, and so on and so forth, but their numbers are always shifting. That's the thing about DC superhero teams, or superhero teams in period. They're always shifting their numbers list. So you could have had to where it was the Outsiders formed of a different team, or maybe even the same team, and fighting the Legion of Doom, or some secret society, or whoever you want to choose. And you just make it about the heroes fighting villains, with you having the ability to choose between which side you want to be on, whether you're a villain or whether you're a hero, and being able to choose which of those characters you want to fight as. Or maybe you want to choose as a hero fighting a hero, or a villain fighting a villain. There would have been variety that I think a lot of people would have had fun with. And then not only just limiting yourself to weapons that shoot, you could have had, if you had Black Lightning, you would have had the ability to shock people. If you had King Shark on the team, you would have been able to just use his muscle. Or if you wanted to have maybe Bizarro make an appearance, you could have shot him with lasers or ice vision. There's a number of things you could have done, but I do think that if you really dived into it, and instead of making it an Arkham game and just making it a DC game with no discernible universe, it would have been fun. It would be interesting. And adding to the numbers as you went on, I think a number list of 6 to 8 to 10 would have been good. Dividing that into a superhero and a supervillain team with more coming along the way would have probably gotten people's attention more and given them a unique skill set that seems different and unique to their personalities and character. I know that Kill the Justice League did that, but in the end of the day, it didn't really feel that welcoming to me. Maybe that's just my opinion, and I'm sorry if some others feel that way. But I do think that there could have been a little bit more expanded on in this idea. Not to say that there aren't any that aren't some positives about this game, like the flying abilities or the guns themselves aren't interesting. But I feel like this is a DC game where you're dealing with a DC superhero team. I feel you could have done a little bit more that would have been interesting and would have made fans excited to play as a character that they wouldn't have expected. And using different skill sets that you wouldn't have expected either. Like I said, using different abilities of different characters in different art styles. Like, maybe you would have played as Plastic Man and used your plastic fist to hit somebody. I don't know. But it's definitely in a direction you could have taken. Something a little more interesting in my opinion. Alright, that's my opinion on what could have been a decent turn for the Suicide Squad Killed the Justice League. It could have been either a narrative game with Harley Quinn, where you actually decide the path she takes, whether she goes on to a full Joker style video game style, or you go on a redemption arc sort of thing, to an Outsiders game, or maybe even a Teen Titans or whatever, and you allow there to be more of a character playlist. You allow them to have their heroes and villains and actually determine whether you want to play as either one. And that would have been interesting. Either one of these would have been interesting for me to play. But, what's your guys' opinion? I would like to really hear them. If you have an opinion or an idea that you would like to say, please leave it down in the comments. I would really like to hear it. Thank you again for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you didn't like my choices, that's fine too. I get it, because my type of gaming isn't exactly like everybody else's, but here we are. Please leave a like, comment, or subscribe down below. I would really appreciate it. It really helps me out. And I hope to see you guys again next time. See ya.